Is this thing on? Yeah, okay, perfect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Calliope Music Reviews. My name is Colin, and this is the Music Canon. All right, so today I want to highlight a bit of a smaller artist and the debut full-length album from Venezuelan electronic group weed420 called Amor de encava. The title means love of encava, and encava, I think, refers to a brand of public transportation that's popular in Venezuela, but I'll get into more detail about that in a little bit later in the review. In the meantime, weed420 is sort of a mysterious collective, a revolving door, if you will, of different Latin electronic producers, with some coming from the instrumental hip hop scene, others from reggaeton and trap backgrounds, and even some atmospheric drum and bass beginnings. As a result, the collective has a distinct sound where they really just mash in as many influences as possible into these extremely dense packages of epic collage and psychedelic electronic music. And yeah, I think it is an intentionally heady sound considering their name weed420. Now, this new record really leans into that psychedelia with a much more cohesive and comprehensible sound than their 2024 mixtape, Melandrio Conceptual. It still holds on to those messy and frail plunderphonic samples and highly glitchy and stuttering tempos, but Amor de encava opts for a more atmospheric direction rooted in salsa snippets and field recordings. Yeah, that's right, I said field recordings. This is a wildly experimental sound, and I wouldn't expect even the most hardened, musically inclined ears to be able to instantly get into this thing. And I'll be honest, even after listening to this record 3 or 4 times, it can still be immensely overwhelming with all of its whirring electronics, spliced beatwork, and chopped vocal samples. That being said, such density can also be tremendously cathartic as screwed salsa drums, phasing synthesizers, and deconstructed collages of noise just wash over you in eclectic fashion. At times, the record leans more into its Latin interpolations, like the beginning of the second track, Laura Branger, pardon my pronunciation, or it fully embraces the experimental hip-hop beatwork like on Camisa Ovejita Blanca. The stammering and glitchy deconstructed club moments actually remind me of the UK producer Igloo Ghost with their just pure wonkiness and surreal textures. Then the group shows that they're willing to let rhythm play second fiddle to moments of unadulterated ambiance and field noise like the interlude on the fourth track. And speaking of rhythm, the fifth song, Maluka, is really where the record starts to get its stride with more consistent tempos of interchanging percussion samples. The most impressive aspect of this sound is how it incorporates so much atmosphere, especially on the later tracks, to communicate a real nostalgic and melancholic tone. The ninth track, El Chiste Más Largo de la Historia, begins with a salsa romantica sample, twisted in pitch and accompanied by an echoing piano loop that all sit inside this massive space of chilling distortion and reverb. The track then builds on this template, adding waves of crashing noise, police sirens, and sinister synth chords that create this impenetrable wall of despondency. I mean, this song and a few others are just truly harrowing in their complex and cumbersome compositions. Now, I do think with all the different sounds and tempo switches, the record could obviously benefit from some simplicity and a more focused direction, but for as chaotic as they are, weed420 is still able to communicate an effective message, especially in those final 3 or 4 tracks. Now, to be clear, it's the emotions behind these messages that are prominent, not necessarily the messages themselves. The only real clear-cut example of subject matter is stated in the Bandcamp description for the album, which roughly translates to, "This is an album about a van, a nostalgic carpenter, and Venezuelan loneliness." The track titles don't offer too much insight to how this description plays out, but it's clear that through the varied sample work and evocative environments that this record is a deep reflection of the group's memories growing up in Venezuela. The encava or van seems to represent that time spent traveling the country and experiencing its good parts and bad parts alike, all encased in a solitary and isolated state of mind. And this is definitely felt in the music, particularly those final few tracks. Of course, such a disorganized sound can really overwhelm and at times teeter on the edge of novelty, but the emotive foundation of the record grounds it and gives it that replay value. Although messy, its diverse electronic experimentation and moody Latin flavor motivate me to give Amor de encava a score of a 7 out of 10. A lot of the best moments on this album are scattered throughout, but the three tracks that really pull it together in their entirety are Maluca, El Chiste Más Largo de la Historia, and Terminal. And alright, that will pretty much do it for this video. I really do hope y'all enjoyed this quick review on weed420's debut LP. As always, I highly encourage you to form your own opinion and let me know what you think of this record down in the comments below. Also, of course, feel free to suggest any other records, artists, projects that you would like me to cover or review on this channel in the future. And with that, this has been weed420, the music canon, and I will see you in the next one.